the first having conversation just floored me. So a few minutes after it happened, I just ran to my laptop and I wrote the whole thing down. Then I just wanted to share it. I sent an email to my family. And then I wanted to share more. I have no idea why. I just thought it was so extraordinary. And so I had seen some stories that the Mighty, from the Mighty, they were like on Yahoo News or something. And so kind of on a whim, I decided to just write up the conversation and submit it. And then they accepted it for publication. And that was it. It was a little bit crazy. And then about a month later, I got a call from Elizabeth Cohen from CNN. She's a health journalist, medical journalist. She had seen that story and she wanted to talk to me because she said that we're just starting to have the conversation about end-of-life care with adults, but no one's really talking about it with kids. And so that was her interest in this piece, and that was her interest in our story. And so from there, she came out to do a story on us, which ended up getting a lot bigger than anyone had really expected, and it was a little crazy.
Can you explain why it got bigger and how?
Well, it went viral. That was bizarre. I mean, from like within an hour of it, I guess, appearing on CNN, I was getting inquiries from media all over the country. They came to my work and our house. It was crazy. Why it went viral? I guess, I mean, the headline was basically, heaven versus hospital. And it was the question about a 4-year-old, choosing. So I guess, I don't know, I guess it's unusual.
Well, what's unusual probably, well, first of all, the story in and of itself, that they're even writing a story about this, is unusual. So it's a rare story. Secondly, it's rare that a story like that is told, I should say. It's also rare that a 4-year-old should be so articulate about what it is she wants. Yeah. And it's rare that the parents should be as mindful and supportive of their child's decision when what it means is that the child is likely to not live as long. And so all of that, I'm sure, went into that.
Yeah, I think obviously it's the fact that we talked about it, and it is those conversations. I mean, I think that there are a lot of families who are going through what we did, and a lot of them make that decision out of love and knowing that even if their child can't verbalize it, they know they're doing it for their child. They're making these really, really difficult decisions for their kid. But not everyone's going to have that kind of conversation to print or to remember, and then not everyone's going to talk about it because it's extraordinary. So it's a heartbreak, and to share it is really hard. And I think that sometimes people are afraid that there'll be judgment about it too, that people don't understand why they're making this kind of decision.
You did get some judgment, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
In the age in which we live, little trolling people.
Yeah, that was a shock too. When I first started sharing that Mighty article, I was very naive. Like I wasn't even on Facebook. Like I'm just not in that. Yeah, it was aware of. So most of the commentary we got, I got after the Mighty was very supportive, but then there were a few comments saying I can't believe that you would let a 4-year-old make that kind of decision. They don't understand death. I was asking leading questions. Basically, this, I think one person even said, this disgusts me. And again, I was naive, but that totally shocked me because I guess in my mind, of course, we'd been living this. I knew what we had been through, and how extraordinarily difficult it was to make these decisions, and how we truly have her best interests at heart. And I felt like, I felt that she understood what she was saying and what she was, sorry, my dog's growling. To me, she had insight. I think she knew what she was saying. And so and there was no controversy in my family or with the medical team, like none. And so it just took me aback that, wait, like they don't know, like yeah. Again, I was naive. And if you're going to share your story publicly, you're going to get that. So I guess I knew that would be part of the CNN story too. But it got more exposure, so then there was more.
Did you ever regret being so public? I mean, did you ever regret letting CNN come do the story?
A little bit. In the first few days when it went viral, that was really overwhelming, because really journalists called my family, like my mom, my sister-in-law. It was crazy. And so it did feel overwhelming. And I remember thinking that, like, when you share anything about yourself, you're sharing part of yourself, right? And so this was my daughter and our sacred story. And so in a way, I kind of felt like Julianna wasn't quite mine anymore. Like I had shared her. I mean, I guess I wanted to share her, but then now she wasn't all mine, and it felt very strange. So I remember feeling overwhelmed and just wishing it would all go away. But then like everything was the same. I mean, she was still her. I was still taking care of her. We still had this, I was still her mom. She was still my daughter. So everything was the same. If I could just tune out what was going around and the things that were being said, there was still no controversy in our family or within our medical team. And then I also thought, this stuff that people are saying, like other families are going through this. Like I didn't know other families going through this, but I knew that it was happening, and I knew there were other parents making these kind of decisions. And it does need to be talked about, because there should be no judgment. And so, yeah.
Did you hear from some of these families?
Yeah. And I still do, which is incredibly gratifying. I've heard from some families that they haven't been offered palliative medicine either. They don't know what it is. They see what their child is going through, and their medical team just talks about more hospitalizations and more things that can be done, and they have these questions. And some have found our story that way, just online, and it's changed the way the course of their child's care, which is, that's incredible to me. When you're going through this, you just want to talk to someone who's been through it. You want to know, like, can I really put my kid in hospice? Like, can I talk to someone else who's done this? Like, is this really okay? And so I guess knowing that someone else has done it and the reasons why, it helps.
Has a parent actually written to you, like, thank you? Has somebody said thank you for sharing, thank you for doing that, and it's given?
Yeah, and it's incredibly humbling. I just got one like that like a few months ago, and it's like, she's been gone about 3 years now, and I'm very grateful we shared.
That was very brave. It was very, very brave. I remember when I first read the piece on CNN.com, I admired you so much, Michelle, both because of and I was jealous, as I said, because you had a daughter who could articulate what she wanted. And while my husband and I really felt we knew what she wanted, intuited, we couldn't no, because
right.
she couldn't say.
Right.
So I was jealous. I admired you and was sort of jealous in a healthy, happy way. And then I admired you so much for being willing to go public with it and to share, because because of the work that I was already doing with Courageous Parents Network, I was like, this is going to help a lot of people. Yeah. And obviously Elizabeth Cohen did a beautiful job of telling the story.